And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. I'm just, after what I've seen today, I am so fucking mad. There has been more video from this horrific situation that has been released, and I said, I don't know if it was 2 days ago or a day ago, but I said that this should be the story of the decade, and it's absolutely turning into just that. And it never needs to go away. We need to be talking about this forever, because what happened to that young woman is absolutely terrible. And the video that we got today, and I'm not going to show all of it because I don't know if I can here on YouTube or whatever, but like it is just so unbelievably terrible. What we saw today. I just couldn't believe it. Watching her in that situation, because we got new video showing him when he used this knife to stab her in the throat, her looking up in fear for her life, and then her looking around and being scared to death in shock. No one's helping her. And then she slowly starts fading. She falls over and she bleeds out. It is the worst fucking thing you could imagine. And, you know, my instincts, any man's instinct, is that you can't stand to see a defenseless woman sitting there and not being protected. That is what any real man is going to sit there and look at and go, I want to protect her. I want to protect her because because a woman needs a man to protect them against a fucking monster like this. It's unbelievable. Use this as an opportunity to teach your daughters and to teach your sons that they should stand the fuck up. Now, you might want to be in a red state if you're going to do that, because we all saw what happened with Daniel Penny. But this is a moment that every parent should be teaching their daughters and their sons different things, because men and women are different. It's unbelievable, man, some of the stuff we're seeing. So I'm not going to show you the I won't call it unedited, but I'm going to show you the edited version of what we have. But it's still pretty graphic, but it needs to be shown. And this has, again, if you are not outraged by this, you are not human, and I don't have any respect for you in any scenario whatsoever. And so, and I say out of respect that I'm going to show this. I still may get hit on YouTube, I don't know, but I am live on Rumble as well. But this is a slight edited version of it. And it's just, it doesn't show her falling over and losing consciousness and all of that. But here we have this right here. But the actual, I mean, there is still an edited video, but you see enough of it in the edited video in terms of it blurs over what actually happens to her. It is, I can't put into words, you know, how angry I was watching it. And, but here we go right here. This is bad enough. And this is the edited version. This is terrible. So you're going to see this moment that we've all seen right here where it stops his arm. What you're going to see is the immediate aftermath. Okay? Now, she is complete. This right here, that moment, any actual man sees that moment right there, sees the look on her face and how terrified she is, confused, in shock. She's been, her throat has been cut. She's just sitting there minding her own fucking business. And then next thing you know, she's been stabbed. That image right there should change this country forever. This image of her looking up, defenseless and terrified. It is so fucking bad, dude. It's so fucking bad. And then I don't even want to, like, you've got another 8 seconds or whatever. That's where we're gonna stop it right there. Because you know, it is YouTube, and I don't know what they'll do. But I've been tweeting about this all day long. And in fact, let me see if I can find it. There's one of my tweets right here. It got a lot of traction, and then right here, if I could find it, there's some right here. Okay, so here's my tweet from yesterday, I believe. This has to be the moment that ends the leftist bullshit. We can't let this story go away. A career criminal black man murdered a beautiful white girl. She was a Ukrainian refugee, and she was murdered in the United States of America for being white. The mainstream media and the left won't touch this story because there's absolutely zero way for them to spin it. Force them to address it. Thankfully, President Trump is doing just that. Never forget this moment. Now, somebody responds. Oh, I got to go through all the responses again. Hang on. Maybe if I go back here. Okay, this guy, this clown right here. What's the goal? Why do y'all keep showing this picture and video? Why won't y'all shut up about it? What's the goal? What's the objective of talking about this nonstop? Burn in hell, you dumb motherfucker. Burn in hell where you belong, right next to the piece of shit. Tony Sandwiches says, he's sincere? Oh, fuck off. He's sincere. They sent a swarm after my comments. Yeah, he's sincere. Look at this piece of shit. Fuck off with that he's sincere bullshit. Motherfucker ain't sincere about any damn thing whatsoever. Fuck him. Oh, Tony Sandwiches says I was being insincere with that. Fuck. I missed the sarcasm. Now I got to drop. Fuck. All right. You know the rules. I got to drop. Now I got to drop gifties. I fell for sarcasm. All right. I'm dropping gifties. Yeah, man, you had me go on a fucking rant. I was ready to roll. I was ready to roll. I mean, I was getting warmed up. Now I got to drop some gifties because I fell for sarcasm. This is how the internet works. I don't make up the rules. It's just how it works. Okay, so there you have it. All right, there you go. Is it Tony Sandwiches? Was that the name? Good job, sir. Your sarcasm is noted and it's appreciated. Back to the point at hand, though. It's been a very, very difficult day, but a necessary day to see these images and to see all of this. Oh, my goodness. Isaac just said all of America feels this way. If you know, you know. That's all I'm saying. If you know, you know. I can't, there's nothing to play. Like, it's just a screenshot. It's just a screen cap of it. Harley Dave with 50 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. You know what time it is. I don't make the rules. Anna Paulina Luna is here to celebrate with everybody. There it is. Anna Paulina Luna, 50 gifted memberships. That's how we celebrate here on CobraCast 199. Thank you very much, Harley, Dave. Thank you, Red Mage, with 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, brother. There's so much I want to say, and I think I'm going to be probably talking a little slower than I normally, will, because, there's a lot that I would like to say right now because of my frustration and anger. But one thing that really hit home for me was this clip right here. And where is it at? Right here. This actually should hit home for all of you. What up, Isaac? This moment right here. I legitimately, like, I'm not a very emotional person, but this moment right here kind of got to me right here. Just listen to this right here. Listen to this.
That I hope the family won't mind me sharing, but after Irina's death, the embassy in Ukraine called and said, "We'll help you bring her home." And her family said no. They said she loved America. We're going to bury her here. So I think we can give her an America to be proud of. As Mr. Barnacle said, something here is broken, and we're here to fix it.
I got chills, man. I have that is incredible. Like, that hit me hard. That hit me hard. One more time.
That I hope the family won't mind me sharing, but after Irina's death, the embassy in Ukraine called and said, "We'll help you bring her home." And her family said no. They said she loved America. We're going to bury her here. So I think we can give her an America to be proud of. As Mr. Barnacle said, something here is broken.
Came here because she thought that America was safe. She thought that America was a place of opportunity. And instead, she was murdered by a career criminal who was allowed to roam the streets in the name of DEI bullshit. Fucking horrible. She came here on what the idea of America is, not the reality of what America is, but what the reality of America can be. And if we, the people, stand up, her death can be the spark that brings us back. And that's where I'm at with it. And man, what a tragic situation, man. And I like this comment right here that Trump made. I thought was very on point. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 1000% right there. We have to be vicious just like they are. This is one of the most on point things Trump has ever said. That 100%. That's what I'm talking about. And I do think, like, things have shifted big time. Now you've got, look at this from, if I find it, Megyn Kelly. Look what Megyn Kelly said. Megyn Kelly says, "Fuck BLM. It's bullshit DEI criminal justice reforms, the knee-bending candy-ass judges, DAs who went along with the lies about racist policing, who created the revolving door of criminals arrested dozens of times for the clearly mentally ill and dangerous. All at unspeakable cost to the innocent young women of America. F them all." Fucking love it. The attitude is completely shifting right now. And Here's another thing that's on point. This line right here. We have our own George Floyd now. Ours was completely innocent. I do like that this guy right here says, I hate the comparison. George Floyd was more similar to the guy who killed her. Which is very true. Thank you, Kevin. I see you, brother. I see you laughing, H. I see all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. But it has been tough, man. Like, I don't talk about personal life stuff too much, but I've been spending I spend a lot of time with my daughter already, but I've been spending like significantly more time showing her this video clip and just educating her. Not that she doesn't get it, because she already does get it, but I'm taking it to the next level now, letting her know, like, don't ever feel bad about profiling someone. You get the fuck out of whatever situation. If you even have a hint that you are in a bad situation, you get out of it immediately. Always mind your surroundings. Don't worry about offending anyone. Don't go out. It's simple rules too. Like, I mean, I think this even applies. Like, it was funny the other day because I had a long day and I think it was Saturday night. I think it was Saturday because I was going to stream, but I had some stuff come up. And it was football Sunday on Sunday. And I was really excited for the Dolphins game. My mistake, because that really turned out to be bad. But the point being is late Saturday night, I had to go to Walmart to get my food for football. But it was like 10 o'clock. So like I called my family. I'm like, hey, heads up. Like if you don't hear from me in an hour, you might want to be worried. Like, whoa, what's going on? I'm like, I'm going to Walmart after 10 p.m. And they were like, I thought you were like in danger. I'm like, I am in danger. I'm going to Walmart after 10 p.m. This is where the heartless strangers hang out. But the point being is that it's never a good idea to be out after midnight if you don't have to be. It's never a good idea. It's never a good idea to be at a nightclub. It's never a good idea to be at a bar at 10 p.m. at night. It's never a good idea. Nothing good happens after midnight. It just doesn't. You could be at home playing video games, watching Netflix, whatever. But like being out in a social gathering and social places after midnight is never a good idea. Never. The only people that are out at those times are people that don't have jobs or families or responsibilities, generally speaking. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, you can find exceptions to the rule. I'm not telling you can't find exceptions to the rule. I'm just telling you that the people that are out after midnight don't have families, jobs, responsibilities. Generally speaking, statistically speaking, that's just the truth. So be careful. Always watch your back. And yeah, like right here, this is a perfect one. Don't have a life and watch D-Day Cobra. That right there, I support that message. Now again, like I said, somebody said I work midnights. No, I totally understand that. I mean, again, you're talking to someone who worked retail and worked the overnight shift in retail. So I totally get it. I there was many a nights where I questioned my life because I'm like again, I worked for Krispy Kreme Donuts and I was the delivery driver. I would go in at 1 a.m. in the morning and work until about 10 a.m. in the morning, going to different convenience stores and corner stores at 3 o'clock in the morning with a truck full of donuts and a bunch of cash is literally the most terrifying thing I've ever done for a job. It was terrible. Knowing that people that are I felt like I was Bruce Willis in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Every time I show up, I've got a truck full of donuts and a bag full of money at 3 a.m. at a fucking corner store. And I just felt like I was basically Bruce Willis in Die Hard with a Vengeance. If you know, you know. And I'm like, I'm just painting a target on me. But that wasn't even the worst part of the job. The worst part of the job was I get back to the warehouse at the end of the shift, and I have a truck full of donuts that technically were not expired. So I ate a lot of them, and I was getting fat. But that's it. That's a first world problem. Point being, I know what it's like to be out after midnight, and it's scary. So people need to watch it. But there was this thing with CNN with Van Jones, and I want to show you guys this really quick. CNN really looking bad right now.
Media has been dragged kicking and screaming over to covering it, only because of shows like yours and mine were they forced to acknowledge this young, beautiful, innocent, white, blonde, beautiful Ukrainian woman was killed, stabbed to death out of nowhere by a black man from Charlotte, North Carolina.
And Megan is based as hell because she's painting the picture exactly how it needs to be painted. She's not mincing words or anything like that, which is exactly how it should be. Here's the thing. If you listen to anybody that doesn't frame it the way Megyn Kelly just framed it, then they're not worth being listened to. One more time. What the fuck?
That men need to quote.
How did we get on that?
That's not a very important story. It's just a sensational story.
Here we go.
This story out of Charlotte, North Carolina grows. It grows only because the mainstream media has been dragged kicking and screaming over to covering it, only because of shows like yours and mine were they forced to acknowledge this young, beautiful, innocent, white, blonde, beautiful Ukrainian woman was killed, stabbed to death out of nowhere by a black man from Charlotte, North Carolina, who seems deeply disturbed in multiple ways and had been, as they say, a sophisticated consumer of the criminal justice system prior to plunging his pocket knife into poor Irina's neck on a public train. An extraordinary display on CNN last night on that Abby Phillips show discussing this story. And she had on, among others, my pal Arthur Aidala was there.
I wouldn't be in the same room as this Abby Phillips chick. She would accuse you of anything. Like, this bitch is crazy. This Abby Phillips chick is the worst person in all of media.
She had on Van Jones, and Van Jones is completely gone. I mean, his take on this story is insane, and he knows better. He knows better. He didn't do his homework, I'm going to guess, but where they took this commentary was deeply ignorant and, of course, insulting, and played the race card against the people who are saying, hey, this would be very different if the races were reversed of the perp and the victim. First, I want to update the audience from this point yesterday on the murderer accused, DeCarlos Brown, who on this train, after he plunged the knife into Irina, got up and walked down a couple train cars and then off the train. And as he had the knife, as he was dripping blood, and now we have heard, and we heard this yesterday prior to that CNN show late last night, the audio of what he says. Listen carefully. We've listened to it many times. We've sped it up. We've slowed it down. We've turned up the volume. And what he is saying is, I got that white girl. I got that white girl. Here it is. So very disturbing. He's disturbed and obviously is mentioning race. By the way, on that front, we have a belief, a well-founded belief, that the FBI may be stepping into this case with an announcement shortly. So stay tuned for that. It could happen during this show. All right. So with all that buildup, I'm going to take you to Abby Phillips' show. And here's Abby Phillip, who never misses an opportunity to make her segments or her show about race and how oppressed Black people like Abby Phillip, who makes millions of dollars, presumably, are. Here she is in SOT 3.
Certain people have been looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a
I literally can't stand her voice, dude. I fucking cannot stand this chick.
lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice, law-abiding Black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
Wow. He said white a lot.
They've been looking for opportunities to make this some
He said white a lot. Oh my goodness.
sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
It's sad. She's sad. She's super sad. And here's the follow-up. Hold your thought from Van Jones in SOT 4.
We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there'd be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. You mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people.
Oh my God. He's the victim, guys. Get the.
Oh my God. Hurt people hurt people. That's okay. Just two quick things. The mom would have gotten him out of jail, like if there'd been like bail. We don't know that she wouldn't have gone down and bailed him out. Yes, we do, because the mom wanted him locked up. Van needs to do his homework. He did not do his homework before he went on that show, because I do not believe he wants to appear willfully ignorant. The mother was upset that the system continued turning her son back out into the community. She didn't know what to do with him and had run out of options. So I believe the mother would not have bailed him out had there been cash bail. And the business about where's the George Floyd policing, like nothing changed in this country after George Floyd, Andrew. Like we're just going to pretend that wasn't some watershed moment where the left lost its ever-loving mind and forced all of corporate America and sports America and educational America to bend the knee on this race essentialism, which has still infested virtually every area of our lives and how we live to this day. We're only starting to unravel it thanks to the Trump election this past November. Your thoughts on it all?
Well, I think this.
It really is it is wild to listen to this. And I think I do feel that we're at a turning point. I do. This is a big deal right now. And it's all starting to, everything's starting to fall apart for the left. The narratives are falling apart. They're getting called out like crazy. I don't know how many of you, let me see if I can find it. I don't know how many of you heard this, and I'm not changing the subject per se, but this was something that happened yesterday that I thought was just so fucking perfect. Tucker Carlson with Mark Cuban. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but just listen to this right here.
Mark, let me ask you a question. What's your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a good answer. I can make an argument both ways, and half my family is Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, personally, I think we should help. But I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Well, why don't you fix their healthcare if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? I noticed that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's the
it's
good
vanity.
news. The good news is all the weapons were on loan lease. We're getting it back. And our dear president, Trump, has negotiated that we own half the minerals. So he turned this horrible tragedy of a war into a profit center, which is one of his unique gifts. I think we can all agree.
Mark Cuban doesn't like that. So the point being is that the left doesn't believe in anything that they talk about. That's the point. And I'm loving that Tucker just absolutely obliterated Mark Cuban, which is not that difficult, by the way, anymore. Mark Cuban has made a fool of himself a lot lately. But listening to Tucker say like, well, how much have you sent? Because if you believe in it, that's fine. Like, no one's saying that you as an individual can't have a belief or a support of whatever you want to support. That's fine. But yeah, putting that to him was pretty freaking glorious right there. I loved it. That was amazing. And I was very, very happy to see that go down the way it did. Let me catch up on a few of these super chats. You guys are insane. I thank you so much. We've got Harley Dave for 20 says, I hate that they print their photos next to each other. You mean put their photos? I don't know what that was in reference to, Harley. I'm sorry. But you did drop 50 get to memberships earlier. River Miles says, there are words going through my mind right now that have been spoken in Call of Duty lobbies of old. I know exactly what you mean, brother. In fact, I mean, listen, I'm not telling you what I believe on this because I really don't know, but like Stephen Miller, some people seem to think that Stephen Miller was getting ready to drop a gamer word on Fox News last night, and he caught himself. I'll play the clip for you as soon as I can find it right here. Okay. So people think Stephen Miller was getting ready to drop a certain gamer word here. You be the judge.
Savagely on a subway, just trying to get home from work, fleeing war, only to run into a Democrat war zone here in our country. That monster.
That monster.
Our country. That monster. 14 prior arrests, murdered savagely.
I was like, holy crap, Steven. So that was funny as hell. But I do think people are finally like, look what JD Vance said. Look what the Vice President of the United States of America just said right here. 48 just said, JD Vance, the reality is that the gross majority of violent crime is committed by a very small group of people that we should be throwing them in prison. Hail 48. Hail 48 right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's Harley Dave's at 50 gifted memberships. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier with a gifted membership. There's Red Mage's 10 gifted memberships. Laughing H for 50 says hello. Hope everyone, hello everybody. Hope you're having a blessed day. Still depressed a little bit, but still making it. Just saw something that really did confirm my theory that probably stay alone, but I'll keep hope. Got boxing tomorrow and I'm off Thursday, so that's awesome. Hey brother, keep the grind. Keep the grind. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kevin Hunts for 50 says, I don't know how I'm even supposed to try to read this one, Kevin. But then you said the censor wouldn't let me say what you wanted. F YouTube. I know. So I'll just highlight it. Thank you, Kevin, for the two $50 super chats. I appreciate it, brother. Eric Heffelfinger for 20 says profiling and in-group preference is a survival instinct hardwired into us since our caveman days. No amount of DEI or screaming about racism will get rid of it. This is true. Harley Dave for 20 says, Jeremy, he said white a lot, but do you know what we don't say enough? Crusades, not against religion, but against pure evil in our neighborhoods and also and also against religion. Thank you, Harley Dave. Let's see. Nerd, it was in reference to how they print the photo of the victim next to the photo of her murderer on the same page. I got it now. Hey, listen, there's a lot going on, all right? I've never streamed before. I get nervous when I stream, all right? I'm very nervous when there's more than a few people watching me. This is the first time I've had a stream. Kung Fu Hot Dog says Abby Phillips is the failed black chick who literally relaxes her hair to be like a white woman. Too many people are born with zero discipline at home. Keep fighting the good fight, Jeremy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hero 19 or 19909 says I cried earlier seeing the helplessness on her face. The fact at that point she was already dead. As Gandalf said, many that live deserve death. Some that die deserve life. Yeah, man, that the image of her, and I'll show you the image that's getting a ton of traction right now, and it should, unfortunately, sadly, but this is the image right here. Like, that image should change this country forever. And if you're not sympathetic to that, if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, then you're not human. But this right here, that is a horrific sight right there. And I'll repeat what I said earlier in the show. We've got more people watching now. But, you know, as a man, your instinct is to want to protect an innocent woman in this situation. This breaks my fucking heart, dude. I mean, this is absolutely horrific. Now, if you haven't seen the newly released video, it's really fucking bad. And I have tweeted about it. So you can go over to my Twitter account if you want to look at it. But essentially what happens right after this moment is that she goes into shock. She starts crying. She's panicking. She has no idea what happened. And then she slowly starts to lose consciousness and she falls over. She falls over to the floor. It's awful. It is the worst thing ever. And knowing that she was just a person that was getting onto the train after working a job, something this piece of shit knows nothing about. I'm not going to show it. I'm not here. I mean, I don't know if YouTube would age restrict me or whatever if I did show it, so I'm not going to. But yeah, it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. So, but it's making the rounds and it should make the rounds. And people need to see this for what it is. I haven't seen this video yet, but I did bookmark this. I want to watch this because we all remember Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny stepped in as a man would in that situation, and he was turned into a villain for it. I haven't seen this video, but let's watch it.
Now I got a question for y'all. Do you guys believe that if this man right here happened to be in this light rail right there, if he was in this cart right here with this young lady, do you believe that the series of events that happened on this evening would have taken place?
I mean, if we're being specific about it, I mean, this happened so fast that I don't know if Daniel Penny could have avoided what happened in that moment, but he surely would have reacted as soon as it did go down. I don't know if Daniel Penny could have, stopped what actually happened. But I understand the point that this guy is asking.
Now, I believe that at the very least, he would have done all he could to save the girl.
Agreed.
Right? Everything he could after she was attacked by this monster. But at the very best, this man right here, or a man just like him, would have seen this situation and acted accordingly, i.e., restrain the man until necessary, which is likely the entirety of the time until police enforcement or law enforcement comes in. So here's the thing. When you give men like this possible 15-year sentences for protecting women like this, who do you think you incentivize? And
Exactly.
of course, when you are a DEI hired judge who lets this guy go after 14 convictions, separate arrests, mind you, who do you think gets incentivized there?
Somebody in the chat just said she wouldn't have died alone, and that's the. I mean, there's so many levels to this that's heartbreaking, but knowing that this girl just died all alone in shock in an instant, like the snap of a finger, you go from scrolling on your phone to thinking about going home after a long day of work. And in the snap of a finger, you're bleeding from your neck. You're seeing this absolute monster walking away from you. No one's helping her because in the video you see she's looking around and nobody is helping her. She died completely alone with no one wanting to help her. It's the worst fucking thing I have seen.
Right? This guy is getting upwards to 15 years for protecting women like her, while this guy gets to essentially commit 14 different crimes where he was actually caught, spends 5 years in prison, and because he writes a nice little cute letter to the judge, she lets him out so he can do this. Now
It's awful. Absolutely awful. Jesus. And again, I will play this one more time because I think that it hammers the point home. This right here.
Charge of FBI Charlotte, which covers all of North Carolina. He and I just got off the phone with the family of Irina Zarutska, spoke with her mother, spoke with her uncle, had a very touching call with them. Our hearts go out to Irina's family. They are suffering like any of us would be. It was a very touching call. Our hearts go out to them. She is a refugee. She literally came to the United States from a bomb shelter in Ukraine to escape the war. And she was going about her day. She was coming home from work on a light rail train, like all of us do all the time. And she was brutally murdered. As a native of Charlotte, I'm so sad to say that our city has gotten to this place. I was born here. I grew up here. I remember when the light rail was built. I remember the development it spurred. I remember the excitement. And to think now that you can't even feel comfortable riding that train hits me deep.
So sad. So sad. And, you know, hearing that, I got to find it really quickly. Hearing that her family and what they said, which is right here, about how much she loved America, it should hit everybody right here. Here we go.
That I hope the family won't mind me sharing. But after Irina's death, the embassy in Ukraine called and said, we'll help you bring her home. And her family said no. They said she loved America. We're going to bury her here. So I think we can give her an America to be proud of. As Mr. Barnacle said, something here is broken, and we're here to fix it.
And of course, we had President Trump speaking on the matter. And I love what he said right here. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing that they understand. And that is 100% accurate. You know, here is President Trump talking about it right here.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities needs help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again. And that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe. Thank you.
So awful. Schrodinger's chat says, I just watched the video as the scared girl spent the last few seconds of her life alone, and all I could think was, I'm so sorry I couldn't help you. Oh, how I wish I could have. Hits hard as a dad. I hear you, brother. That's exactly where I'm at with it. I mean, there hasn't been a story that has hit me this hard in a long time. This story has hit me hard. And I think that it's, you don't have to be a parent. You don't have to be a dad to a daughter like I am for this. I think that anybody with a heart is going to look at this story and is going to be bothered and upset by it. So, but it definitely does hit you differently if you are a father to a daughter, for sure. Red Mage for 50 says, just looked at the Facebook page for someone I know who had a Ukraine flag on there for a long time. Interesting now that it's gone, and he hasn't said a single word about the incident. Hypocrite. And that's the thing, too. The majority of these people that put Ukraine flags in their bios, they didn't actually care about Ukraine. It was all part of a club. It was a cool club that they wanted to be part of. They didn't actually care. Most of them don't even know where the fuck Ukraine's at on a map. But they put it in their bio because it makes them feel good about themselves. They didn't actually care. Thank you, Red Mage. I appreciate it, brother. Harley Day for Tid says, if men are not angry enough, then men need to become men again. Agreed. I mean, honestly, like, if this doesn't, you know, motivate you to go out, work out, get in shape, and fuck somebody up that is trying to hurt an innocent woman, I don't know what will. Munchie Ninja, I have to be careful with that word. Gonna refrain from giving you super chats for fear of you saying how you really feel, if you know what I mean. For those that don't, for those that have not been watching for a long time, I might have mistakenly said Munchie Ninja's name, and I said a word that I've never said before in my life. I've never said it driving down the road. I've never said it describing, you know, clientele of Walmart or a Burger King. Never. It's the first time I've ever said it. First time. It's first time. Just random mistake. Harley Day for 50 says, I could write an essay about the downfall of society. It's all by design. Even with her murder, it has all has an impact on what comes next. I hate all of this. I'm infuriated beyond words. Wait until these demons start making demands. Brother, I hear you, man, but I do feel that this is a moment. This is a crucial moment right now. And if we, the people, continue to keep this story relevant and do what the left did except we're doing it for the right reasons because George Floyd never meant anything to them. George Floyd was just an opportunity for mentally weak people to virtue signal off of something. The mainstream media pushed that out there, all of that. The mainstream doesn't have the power they used to. And this story by the day is just getting worse and worse. In the social media world, we often, have a story that goes crazy for a few days. We all get worked up over it. And then the next story happens and we forget about the previous story. We cannot let this story pass. We can't do it. Doesn't mean we can't talk about other things. It doesn't mean we can't address other things. But this story has to stay relevant, and people need to remember what happened to her. It is awful. Dave Chandler for 50 says the left is all about inversion. George Floyd is innocent. Daniel Penny is guilty. The reason they hide Irina's footage is because they can't invert this. She is clearly innocent. You are 100% correct. Everything about this story, the left cannot spin it. They can't twist it, and it terrifies them. She's a Ukrainian refugee. She's beautiful. She's sitting there, innocent, harming no one, doing nothing wrong. You can't find anything on her to spin or twist or manipulate. You have a career criminal that should have never been in the public to begin with, murder her for no reason. There's no way to spin this. None. And this is why the left hates this story. Red Mage for 20 says, can we now claim we stand with Ukraine? That will tick them off so much. You're right about that. Majestic for 10 says, he who saves his country violates no law. Thank you, Majestic. By the way, the movie The Majestic with Jim Carrey is fantastic. If you have never seen The Majestic with Jim Carrey, your name just reminded me of that movie, but if you've never seen The Majestic with Jim Carrey, put that one on your watch list. That is a fantastic movie. I mean, it's a really great movie. Might be my favorite Jim Carrey movie. Great freaking movie. See, Jared the American's thoughts on people who peaked in high school, like Uncle Rico. That one guy says, scan in. Emerald Eye says, I think we're seeing the weaponization of the anti-white sentiment certain groups have been programmed to hold. This is the kettle coming home to boil. Show me your O face for $1. Fantastic Knox says the part where he says he got the white girl. Pro Catch says no more DEI judges. Mike Noss says evil prevails when good men do nothing. Fucking pathetic that none of the nearby passengers even tried to help her after the stabbing. Little Jim Taylor says fuck the media, can't hide the story now. They can't hide the truth now. RIP to that young woman. Hope that monster gets the worst punishment imaginable. There's only one answer. I'm going to dance around my words a little bit here because I'm on YouTube. But I've heard, because he's charged with a federal crime, I've heard the term the death penalty, In my opinion, the word public needs to be involved. And that's all I'm going to say. You can fill out the rest of that. Public, you know what? Free for everybody. Zinni Biscuit says, where's all the supporters of Earnhardt's Wrangler car? Jeremy knows what I'm talking about. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Solo Felix says, unfortunately, Daniel Penny isn't on every train. Yep. Ryan Miller says, my blood is boiling right now after what I saw, and it makes me more angry that the media covered this shit up on purpose, and he needs the chair. President Ball says no need for a trial or appeals, which could take years and cost taxpayer thousands of dollars. It's on video. Get the wood chipper. Defending the truth says Jeremy, serious. Why are you mad? This is normal. Mitt for $5. Thank you. Isaac says the fatigue is real. The $500 club says her family should sue Charlotte for wrongful death. Sula Felix says punishment. I thought of American History X, The Curb. Listen, if you've never seen American History X, I would recommend checking it out. What I'll say about American History X, though, is it's legitimately not an easy watch. That is a tough movie to watch. There are certain scenes in it that are very Very tough to watch, but very necessary to get the point home. So, but before I saw Heath Ledger's Joker's performance, I thought Edward Norton gave the single greatest acting performance I have ever seen in any movie in American History X. The way that he plays, like both kind of the version of himself beforehand and then what he becomes, and this, like, what an incredible performance. What an incredible performance. Hunter says YouTube is gay and late for notification. Defending Truth says blacks will always support blacks over whites. Harley Dave says, please tell me everyone in your family has a concealed carry. Everybody in my family and then some are good to go. We're in Florida, baby. We're in the state of Florida. Peter Go Hawks says, did you see she had a BLM poster in her bedroom? So I'm pretty sure that's been debunked. But as I've said, it doesn't really matter. But I don't think that it was real. I'm pretty sure that's been debunked, but I don't know, and I don't really care. Cole Hauser says, I'm sick of black fatigue and the black filth of the earth. And he's black. He can say that and not get in trouble. Defending Truth says she supported BLM so much it got her killed. Defending Truth says take a shot. Jeremy mentioned he worked retail. Little Orphan Funkhauser says this has to be the moment that reverses the fallout of the Summer of Love and George Floyd. Irina must be the symbol that changes the narrative. The Exalted Patriarch says the fatigue is real when the Black National Anthem plays. I will shout out Irina. I don't know how you say her last name. So Delta Dragon says, went to a rave that lasted past midnight, did not feel safe on the streets around that time. And the people there were just weird, to put it nicely. Well, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we all go through things. I mean, when I'm sitting here as in my 40s now telling people like how, advice about things, but it's because of all the mistakes I've made in terms of like, being in like very few times in my life have I been in a situation where I felt very unsafe, but I have ended up in those situations over the years. But it's all about learning, man. But I could count maybe on two hands the amount of times that I've been in a legitimate situation where I felt unsafe. Not to say something happened, but just like, oh man, this is a bad situation I'm in. I tend to try to keep myself out of those. But it happens. Chaos Theory says, does everyone enjoy their Switch 2? Also, is anyone actually ready for the PlayStation 6 at all? I feel like the PS5 and Series X barely got started. Well, that's something we'll talk about on Tuesday night's main event, which is starting in 30 minutes over on the Geeks and Gamers channel. But I'm enjoying my Switch 2. So, let's see. Little Jim's Halo says, we didn't hear about this story for about a month. I know. Alan Tanasi says, no joke, I'm on a bus with a lot of socioeconomic factors behind me. Only seat, but I got protection. Hail the 199. Lord will keep me safe. Be safe, brother. Slain Hope says, I don't think his mama had 14K to bail him out 14 times. Mr. Zeeb says, what's even more sad is that the side Irina most likely identified with tried to not bring attention to her death. It was the right who cared the most. It's true. Blast Radio says, notice when a certain racial narrative doesn't fit, now all of a sudden Democrats and the media don't care about Ukrainians for some odd reason. Dr. Fauci's pardoned prison butt says, black fatigue is real. People are tired of making up excuses for them. Like Thomas Sowell said, they're urban hillbillies and I'm just done. Matt Frog says, Mark Cuban looks more and more like a lesbian. Is it something heuristic autistic says no one in the train car did anything including help the victim. Prison for them too. Harley Dave says don't be scared, it's Casper, baby. Kilgannon says I ride the train all the time and have gotten harassed for being white several times. Zandy says you're probably going to see a repeat of this outrage when they release the video of Austin Metcalf case. Blast Radio says Democrats are responsible for this high crime and they should be held accountable in the midterms for lying about it. That video enraged me to no end. Show me your O faces. Needs to be said, the judge that released this maniac was in charge of the rehab center, and he was going and Benny had the evidence on his show today. Nate in the outfield says, may the Lord have mercy for our country for getting to this point. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says, people that have voted for Dems, Obama, Clinton, Kamala, Biden, and the Soros prosecutors need to be voted out for 4 election cycles. Swaggy says, this girl was safer in a war zone than in America. No PhD Coyote says, how long before they conflate this with how ICE is enforcing? Defending Truth says, I don't know why that bear killed her. I mean, we kind of do. Matt Frog says, Metcalf died the same way, 500,000 raised for the killer. We have a serious problem in this country. We absolutely do. Last Radio says, yet another liberal woke judge releases a monster. Yet again, we tolerate in time and time again, we tolerate it. TJ says, I'm also a father to a daughter myself, and this makes me sick to my stomach. This is unfucking acceptable and cannot stand. Never again. Wyoming Sasquatch says, 1984, Gary, I don't know how you say that, this heartless man. And Jeanette says, not American, but if this isn't a wake-up call for the left to catch a wake-up call, I don't know what is. So sick. The worst part is no one tried to help. G&G Play Highlights says, send that thug to fight in the Ukrainian army. Adam Rice says, the Majestic was shot in, is it Humboldt County, California, where I live. Eureka, California had the auditions that went for blocks. That theater exists. Does it? That's freaking cool. That's actually really cool to hear. Phil says, does her family have a GoFundMe we can donate for her funeral cost? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. We can look that one up. We can look that one up and see. Let's see. I don't say your name, but for 5, I wonder if the media will try to spin the blame onto Putin and Russia, because if there was no Ukraine war, there would not have been refugees. Such BS. I mean, I don't think the media's. I think the media's twisted themselves up big time on this. I don't think they know how to address it, and I think they're trying to avoid talking about it unless they can try to say it's MAGA. Like, nothing the media says about this story is going to be helpful. Nothing. Not one fucking thing that they can say will help. Marine Rebel says, I'm going to buy my daughter a trained German Shepherd for protection she already carries daily. Anthony says, noticed all the black men around the Ukrainian girl and did nothing but watch, shaking my head. Zach Attack says, you and Matt Walsh agree he would also like the word public in capital crimes. He said it on his show today. Listen, I might have some major disagreements with Matt Walsh, but I think we probably see eye to eye on more than we disagree on. The Revolutionary says, black fatigue is a myth. If you really are tired, then do something about us. But crying is so easy. Keep doing that. You just sent me $5 fucking to say that. Is that all you could afford? Can you please send more to prove how mad you are? Send a 50 if you really want me to take you seriously, okay? Until then, I'm just going to consider you a fan that's trolling. So send me a 50. Send me a 50 and I'll take you seriously. All right? Razorburn says, Jeremy, bring back drawn and quartered punishment. If you don't know what it is, Google or give him the Blood Eagle. Look that up. Daniel Caven says, make firing squads great again. Ryan Miller says, what pisses me off more is that Kamala was president. If Kamala was president, you could all imagine how she would frame this story and may even victimize the murderer. You're right about that. Exar says, empathy for criminals and is apathy for victim. Fatigue is real. Piano Dean says, not likely we'll see the mayor of Charlotte at Irina's funeral, kneeling and sobbing by her casket. Yeah, we all know that story. Jimbo for 10 says, hail, Jeremy. Rarely get to catch you live. I know you have to run it past Laughing Man first, but you need a stream with you quartering and Salty Cracker and invite Alex to see what happens. It would be a beautiful disaster if that happens. Pieces 13%ers always get the free pass. Zinny Biscuit says, a wise cracker once said, the freaks come out at night. Michael says, release him to the public and give us his location. W. Porter says, Beardo watches American History X for the shower scene. Bruce Campbell's chin says, now the left doesn't care about immigrants. Crow says, please stop the world. I want to get off. I'm tired of human BS. Socrates Magoat or Scrotes Magoat says, we need to start organizing memorials and vigils for Irina. And SBZ says, fuck YouTube censorship. I hope she will be buried in a golden casket, surrounded with real Americans, not celebrities, just real Americans. And Harley Davidson is for the revolutionary for $100. MAGA red $100, by the way. So see, you did make me some money. So that's okay. That's okay. I like that. There it is. What about Bob says both the Majestic and American History X are free on Tubi. Zero says Don 3PO protection money. Elena says mom to 5B and 3G, and this hurts my mom heart. All my oldest kids openly carry, as do I especially traveling outside our town, Yeah, it does, man. It hits home in so many different ways, man. It's just been a rough day watching all this stuff. We got Steven Crowder right here. I have not heard this. I did bookmark it, so let's hear what Crowder has to say.
I just watched this footage again. Hey, white America, I think you just found your George Floyd. You're 12 times more likely to be murdered by a black American than the other way around. And this is not to condemn all black Americans.
Dude, most black people agree with what we're saying. This is a leftist narrative that has been created. This is a diversity narrative that has been created. Most normal black people agree with everything we're fucking saying.
That's a statistical reality. And it needs to stop. You just found your George Floyd. You watched that tape? Let me ask you, are we supposed to be as offended seeing, if we were to put these two in a side by side, as offended at George Floyd's situation than Zarutska's? Because I'm not. Not even close.
Somebody said, no, they don't. Hey, can you tell me why LeBron James lives in a white neighborhood? Can you tell me why the Black Lives Matter founders all bought houses in white neighborhoods? Can you tell me why all the Hollywood celebrities that preach about diversity and how we got to stop being racist and they all moved to white neighborhoods? Huh? You want to explain that one to me? Obama? You want to explain why Obama lives in a white neighborhood, motherfucker?
There are a few key differences. First off,
OJ did live in a white neighborhood. He liked white women too. A little too much, probably.
George Floyd is not part of a demographic in this country that is 12 times more likely to be murdered than a white person. That's the first difference. Second difference is Zarutska didn't choose to jam a speedball up her ass. It's hyperbole to make a point. Zarutska didn't live a life harming those around her and living as a degenerate. Zarutska didn't choose to rob a woman at gunpoint with the child in the home. Zarutska didn't choose to resist arrest. Zarutska didn't choose to ask that the air conditioning be turned on in the car until she didn't like it anymore so she be taken out of the car and continue resisting arrest. Zarutska chose to get on a train. Bet you the whole country won't burn down. I bet you won't see $2 billion of damages in the first couple of months. I bet you not anything close to that. So yeah, there are some key differences. I hope I've crystallized them for you. But white America, you just found your George Floyd.
Correct. And it's sad that we've had to get to this point, but we've gotten here through a lot of different levels. And right here, here's Caroline Levett going off on the media.
Intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The president and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness. This monster should have been locked up, and Irina should still be alive. But Democrat politicians, liberal judges, and weak prosecutors would rather virtue signal than lock up criminals and protect their communities. And perhaps most shamefully of all, the majority of the media, many outlets in this room, decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative. Many of the journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink trying to smear Daniel Penny for defending a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City, but none of those same reporters lift a finger to write stories about an actual murderer. Here's the truth that every American must know. Too many innocent people across the country continue to pay the price of the failed experiment known as cashless bail that has been championed by the Democrat Party for years. All the way back in 2020, North Carolina's then Democrat Governor Roy Cooper established a so-called task force for racial equity and criminal justice. Sounds nice, but it's not.
She just destroyed the mainstream media right there. She just destroyed them right to their faces, and it was absolutely fantastic. Cosmic Cowboy for 50 says, I worked in corrections for 8 years, and I saw and experienced a lot of horrible things. I am really sad and angry for Irina Zarutska and family. This could have been prevented, and the people responsible should be ashamed of themselves. You know, and thank you so much, Cosmic Cowboy. And I can only imagine some of the shit that you've seen, brother. You know, I go back to this right here with President Trump. And, you know, I mean, obviously, like, you know, as a president of the United States, you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot of responsibility. You have a lot to, you know, deal with. I wonder if he looks at this and just thinks, I mean, it's obviously not his fault, but I wonder if he looks at this going, man, I could have prevented this if I would have been stronger on these corrupt judges and Democrats and all of this. I mean, obviously he's never going to be responsible for it, but it's just like, I wonder if he does take that personally, you know, like how can you look at this and just, I don't know how anybody can feel good about this, man. This is a horrible, horrible situation. Normal Man says, let's see, make the guillotine great again. Thank you. Big Boss says, nah, just keep with the narrative and all. Let's see, blacks are at fault. Also charge back. Eric K says that animal needs to be put down slowly and painfully. I am sure plenty of volunteers. Slain Hope says, and the ones that stay in the hood become statistic. Warbear says there aren't bars in the windows in black neighborhoods because they're trying to keep out Nazis and clam members. Scrooge McGoat says Irina was worth 1 billion George Floyd's. Philip Butler says criminals commit 100 crimes before the first felony. And with that, we're going to end it because I've got to get ready for Tuesday night's main event over on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. If you want a little time away from the heavy-handed stuff, we're going to be laughing at memes and just trying to chill over there. As you guys know, Tuesday night's main event is kind of a meme show, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about some entertainment stuff, some video games, some retro stuff, and then we just laugh at each other and post your memes. So if you need a little bit of time to get away from all of that, I would invite you to go over there. But if you're looking for more heavy-handed content, I'm sure there's some people that are going to be live at talking about it. So we will be live on YouTube and Rumble. So if you guys are interested in that, I will rate it so you guys can continue the discussion over there. But like I said, we're not going to be talking much about this topic over there because it's just not, what that show is for. Let's see. Fontaine Carter says this is crazy and just covered up like it was nothing. I can't stand the Dems. This makes me sick. That guy should go to hell for this. MAGA, hail the 199. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And with that, you guys have a good evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.